Okay, guys, welcome to another one of these impromptu streams. I guess I'm always thinking I'm gonna schedule one in advance, and it never happens. But things, have come up throughout the day that I decided I wanted to talk about, and didn't really want to sit on it for too long. So I am gonna hold out just a little while before we get started here, just to see who pours in. Not really expecting too many people, since, as always, I did not schedule, but I see some of you guys coming in already, so I appreciate that. Obviously, from the title, what the most of the topic is going to be. If it doesn't turn out to be a full stream length, I may pull up some other topics that we can also go over. But for now, this is going to be the main one because it's been bugging me all day, just seeing the absolute garbage takes that people have been spouting off. And the amazing part about it is, I remember a time when people would say, don't trust the media lies, blah, blah, blah. Now, you see those very same people blindly believe the media, as long as it's, something bad about Trump or conservatives or something along those lines. But not only that, they're more than happy to allow the flow of information to be controlled by these mega corporations. And it's just mind-blowing how they don't understand how easily this could be turned around on them at any time. They don't understand, and even when it does happen, let's take a look at the, for example, the Roseanne and James Gunn situation. Both, opposite sides of the political spectrum, I believe, both fired, and you saw that they were happy to have Roseanne fired because her opinions were garbage, she was racist, blah, 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 all the buzzwords. But then James Gunn fired for his garbage takes. Oh, this is a right-wing troll operation. How dare they suppress him? They just don't see it. They're too blinded by ideology to realize that their ideology doesn't protect them from these standards. Eventually, the tides will turn, and their speech will be taken away next. And they won't have any ground to stand on to argue against it because they destroyed the principle. They destroyed the foundation that it was built upon. The market has decided, except that it wasn't the media, it was the 4 largest content sharing platforms. And that's the thing that bothers me. Take a look at Google. I mean, Google, the power that they hold over society itself is insane if you think about it. I mean, they control the flow of information. The internet has become the largest source of information. So Google has a lot of control over what you see, through their search engine. And they don't realize that that can be used to control what people are allowed to know. They don't see that that can be tailored to a specific ideology, and it already has. I mean, you've already seen examples of this. Now, some may say these examples are petty, but they do that sort of revisionist history thing where you'll type certain things into Google search and, it'll come up as something that doesn't quite match the reality of the situation. That's the kind of nonsense where changing history, changing what people know by, fucking with algorithms and controlling what they see. It's crazy. I just can't believe that people are for this. Look, I don't care who you don't like. It doesn't matter. But the idea that they shouldn't be able to speak, that they have no place to share their opinion, is ridiculous. I mean, are you so scared of opposing opinions that the only thing you can think to do is remove them? If they're so wrong, if these people that you disagree with are so wrong, why? Why do you need to silence them? Why do you need to hide them away? The best possible place for the world's shittiest opinions are right out in the open. Because for all the people out there that may fall for misinformation, there are still always going to be people that see through the bullshit, that will see the most extreme takes and realize that, you know, it's inflammatory or it's false. Hiding it doesn't help anybody. In fact, I think hiding it weakens you, because eventually you forget, you lose the critical thinking skills to argue against that which you oppose, because you have, you know, rested on your laurels and comfort for so long that you don't remember why it is that you oppose what you oppose and the good reasons for opposing it. Main reason to ban Alex Jones was to prevent him influencing the midterms in the 2020 elections. You know, that's actually, yeah, I mean, I could see that. You know, obviously proving that as the main reason would probably be insanely difficult without some sort of paper trail acknowledging that. But it'd be an amazing find, because then, you know, they would definitely be screwed over, which would be beautiful. I would love to see that. Unfortunately, you know, I don't think it'll happen, but man, that would just be wonderful. So all day I'm seeing these people saying shit like, this isn't a free speech issue, he still has his free speech, you're just talking about, you know, the concept of free speech, and that's only speaking out against your government. Like, at this point, what is the difference between the power of the government and the power of a mega corporation like Google that controls the flow of information? In fact, one could argue that since Google is not held to the standards of the government, that they could be worse. You know, I do see that there's this whole private company argument, but at this point, Google is much more than just a private company. If you have control over information, then you're more than a private company. It's not the same as, you know, going to the baker and being denied a gay cake, okay? It's not even close to the same thing. Fully behind Alex Jones here, even if some of his videos were just ridiculous. Not giving your opponent a platform is a bad precedent to have. It is, just because of how easily it can be turned around when, you know, the political tides change. I mean, look, obviously there's something to be said that, you know, people aren't entitled to certain things, but I think that this absolute erasure of an individual is just insanity. It goes well above and beyond what a company should be able to do to somebody. And a lot of people want to try to do this whole, oh, free speech is just has to do with the government. But like I said, you know, at what point does a company become so powerful that it's hard to tell the difference? I mean, it's... Hold on a sec here. I just want to pull up what it is we're looking at on screen. Okay, so this guy here was one of the first ones I saw during the day. So let me just read through. Why would this not be dealt with like any other harassment case? You don't think it is because of the inconvenient questions he asks of those in power? I'm not an InfoWars fanatic, but we need free speech to challenge war narrative. He still has his free speech. Learn what the term actually means. He says, enlighten me and explain how limiting your voice online does not limit free speech. Don't you see our freedoms allowed to us are getting smaller by the day? Which is interesting because, you know, these are the same people crying about fascism, but yet they have no problem handing over their freedoms, handing over the power of information to companies. Don't forget, Google takes money from the government, so why aren't they being held to the same standards of the government when it comes to free speech? If you're going to take public money, then you ought to protect the rights of the individuals that use their service. That's actually a very good point. I would agree with that. Yeah. The thing is that all of these places, you know, they've presented themselves as public platforms. So it's not quite the same as holding a job at Walmart and, you know, going in there and expecting to be able to spout your political views at customers all day. You know, Walmart's not a public platform. Walmart is a company that provides products. It provides goods to people. So there's not really, you know, that it doesn't have to do with speech, okay? You know, Google, Twitter, things like that, social media, these are not necessarily I mean, you could argue it's a product, but it's not necessarily a product. It's more of a public platform, and they have power over the information that you see. They are committing discrimination on a political level, and if discrimination is, you know, something that we are trying to stray away from, especially when it comes to identity-based discrimination, which is what these people love to talk about, then it shouldn't be fair to take away somebody's voice on these platforms simply because you don't like their politics, you don't like their opinions. It's not going to get better. Everything is considered hate speech nowadays. And that's exactly why they came up with the concept of hate speech. Hate speech is this loosely defined concept that can basically be applied to anything that somebody doesn't like. Now, you know, they'll say that it's specific to, you know, race or gender, blah, 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 whatever. But we know that that's not the truth. They just twist people's words into something that they deem as malicious or hateful, and then they'll use the term and they'll call it hate speech. And then hate speech is conveniently in the terms of service for all of these things as a bannable offense. So, of course, they will remove you and claim that you broke the terms of service. So this wasn't Ralph's channel. No, this isn't Ralph's channel. I was just hosting his stream while he had a strike on his channel. You know, well, you can hang around if you'd like. That would be great. If not, I understand. I know people were some people were still expecting Killstream to be here, but for now they're at home. So that's just one thing that I encountered today. But I am absolutely... What's up, buddy? What a day. Hey, SoCal Chris, how's it going? I'm absolutely blown away, though, that so many people are just willing to give up the choice, the freedom of choice, to decide for themselves what they want to engage with. Nobody's forcing you to listen to Alex Jones just because he can freely post on social media or YouTube or anything like that. If you don't want to engage with him, you have the choice not to do that of your own volition. You don't need this giant mega corporation to come in and censor that on your behalf. You have the choice to disengage with whatever content you like. And if you believe that these ideas are so terrible that they're harmful, then you have the freedom to argue against these ideas with your own freedom of speech. I feel like these companies, the people that support the companies taking away the voices of dissent, are just people that are too fucking lazy to come up with any kind of argument of their own. You have to... I mean, the principle, the foundation that freedom is built upon, that this country is built upon. You can't have all of the things that we have in this society without that foundation. And they're chipping away at it every day, little by little. And the reason that people are being brainwashed into believing it is okay is because right now You have it aimed at opinions that have been deemed socially unacceptable. This is a calculated effort. Wrong think, exactly. The Alex Jones thing is kind of like the NSA situation. It may seem banal now, but if a more radical leftist gets a hold of these tools, they could wreak havoc on this country. I mean, we've already kind of seen samples of that, you know. Like I was saying earlier, I don't know if you were here, but when Google does things by fucking with their algorithm in order to sort of mess with history, like you'll do some sort of search and, you know, they'll show figures that may not really represent the history of a particular country. We've seen things like that before. Hitting nailheads all over the place here. Well, this is something that really bothers me. I find it disturbing that the very same people that bitch about authoritarianism and fascism are the same fucking ones that have no problem just flat out banning people because they're afraid of their ideas. I don't even think most people look. This is only like tangentially related to Alex Jones because I don't really, you know, I've listened to a couple of his clips. I'm not a fan or anything. That doesn't mean I think he should be gone, of course. And the thing is, how am I supposed to get my super male vitality now? Oh, I guess, did they take away Infowars.com? No, that's still there, right? Did you see the Comedy Central post about Alex? Yeah, I did. I thought that was bullshit. I can't believe that. And that right there just shows how low comedy has gone. So now, comedy, which is a concept that benefits most from the concept of freedom of speech, they think it's funny to just laugh off somebody being banned for opinions. So what I was going to say was I don't think most people even listen to Alex Jones for facts. I think a lot of it is the entertainment factor. Now, that's not to say everything he says is bullshit and he gets it all wrong, but I think that he has that persona that draws people in, and I think a lot of it is entertainment value for people. So the idea that this guy is dangerous to the public is absurd. I mean, really, what has he done? He said some absurd things, sure. Has he broken the law? It's not about Alex, but the fact a huge company would publicly do so with no blowback. Right. Not only no blowback, but blind praise. That's the most insane part to me. And they don't even worry. They don't think this can come back and affect me later. They just think, we're removing the bigots from society because we're on the right side of history. The absolute hubris. People supporting these platforms until they're no longer welcome. We need change. Can't be at a disadvantage. They can shut down anyone anytime they feel like it. Yeah, a big problem, and I guess this is kind of funny because we're here on YouTube taking part in their platform. Big problem is that, you know, it's hard to get an alternative going. And, you know, maybe not so hard in the sense of getting someone to build it, because you could do that with enough money and the right person to develop it. The issue is getting people to care enough in order to move over to another platform, which has been a massive problem. I wish, you know, this is one of those times where you kind of wish that you had more influence just so that you could get more people to take a stand and make that move and leave these platforms behind and kind of show them that you can't just take control over everything because you have conveniently placed yourself on the so-called right side of history. Like Gab, it's good, but it'll never be Twitter big. Yeah, exactly. That's the issue here, is that it's very hard to get people to go over and try something new. They're very set in their ways. You know, even I'm guilty of that to some extent. You know, there is a certain irony in using the very systems that you complain about, but at the same time, you can also say that it's sort of like customer feedback. You know, you can like the platform the way that it's built, but you can believe that the terms that under which it's run are poorly executed and unfairly executed. If YouTube would crash burn completely, it would make things a lot easier. YouTube operates as a loss leader, so it's hard to compete because the current model is financially unsustainable. You know, the interesting thing here, I guess I guess we'll probably get into it a little bit more after, because I do have a Boogie 2988 take on this, which I thought was completely obnoxious. But they were talking about like advertising and how, you know, oh, the advertisers don't want to operate on the same platform as Alex Jones, so this is a completely logical decision. It's like, look, I think this whole associating advertising with certain figures just because they share the same platform is absurd. Alex Jones may buy and eat M&Ms. That doesn't mean M&Ms endorses Alex Jones. It's just a commercial. I mean, if YouTube wanted to, they could just keep the commercials off of Alex Jones's channel, and I wouldn't be surprised if they were already doing that. I mean, I imagine he would be demonetized. Oh God, not a Boogie take. Yeah, you guys know what to expect there. I don't know if we'll play the whole video, but it's only like 7 minutes long. I should have tried to timestamp before I came on here, but it was starting to get late, and I didn't want to cut into the time slot of other shows, because I know that, well, I'm wise enough to know that some of my audience is into the other, into the kill stream and such. So we'll probably watch most of it, because I don't remember exactly where the most garbage of takes are, but they're all in there, no doubt. One thing that I did want to pull up, oh, I probably should have added it to Imager so that I could more easily show it. Let me see if I could do that real quick. I don't think, okay. We are breaking the conditioning. Somebody has to. This is getting out of control. Honestly, I don't know how anybody could be happy about this kind of stuff. I mean, look, obviously if you hate somebody enough, it's going to be sort of entertaining when, you know, something, they kind of get their own. But I don't even think, this isn't even a case of, you know, getting a taste of your own medicine, because he doesn't, as far as I know, he doesn't support any kind of suppression of speech. This is another one of those takes, and it's from the Boogie video. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's not really big enough. But he says, I gotta laugh at all the people shouting free speech. This isn't a free speech issue. Google is a company, can do whatever they want on their own platform. Now look, even if that's true, just because someone can do whatever they want, does that mean they should? I can do whatever I want. Does that mean I should go out and do illegal things? No. Does that mean I should go out and do maybe things that aren't necessarily illegal but could be considered immoral or against my character? No. Just because you have the freedom to do something or the legal ability to do something, it doesn't mean you should, nor does it mean that it's necessarily a good idea. And in this case, I definitely think that this is a bad idea for the multitude of reasons that have already been named. You implying you have a crossover with Ethan's Big Gay? To a very small degree. I recognize some people from there. Hitler took the guns, Mao took the guns, Boogie took the guns. 1776 will commence again if you try to take away our rip boogies. Yeah, the bullets might bounce off. But yeah, let's... Alright, well, I've kind of delayed that. Let's listen to the video and see what we hear.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you.
I hate this intro.
Power of the internet. And if you've been paying attention to the news today or social media, you may have heard that a YouTube pundit by the name of Alex Jones, who has a far-right conspiracy show that kind of acts like a cult to sell people supplements and stuff like that, has been...
So you know what's funny about the conspiracy thing is that it seems like the conspiracies are only an issue when they come from a quote-unquote right-wing perspective, because you had all of that false information from the more left side of things about Trump and, you know, collusion with Russia and these weird, some information supposedly about him getting pissed on or something weird like that. I don't even remember what it was, but it was complete nonsense. But somehow that's not, you know, that's not a conspiracy. That's not taking things too far. That's perfectly okay. Wait, did Boogie pick a side instead of sitting on the fence for once? He kind of did. He still tried to kind of play the middle, but he went just slightly over the line. You'll see as it goes on.
And banned from YouTube, as well as Facebook and Apple and pretty much most of the other major publishing places that you can publish your stuff on the internet. Now, there's plenty of people out there who want to defend Alex Jones, and there's plenty of people out there who want to attack Alex Jones. As usual, I don't want to do either of those things here. I just want to take a critical look at the situation and talk about the ins and out of it and maybe educate you and educate myself.
I love how he thinks he has a critical take here. Just because I look at both sides and pretend they're both equally valid, that somehow means that I'm taking the critical look. No, not all opinions are equally valuable.
About the situation we find ourselves in when it comes to stuff like this. But let me start this by saying one piece of opinion here. I don't care about Alex Jones. I really don't. I don't think about him very much. I don't like what he has to say, especially when he's talking about crisis actors and all these conspiracy theories and the Second Civil War and all of that really crazy stuff. Sometimes I find it...
I mean, is the idea of a second Civil War really all that crazy? It doesn't even have to really mean, you know, in the sense of all-out violence. A lot of what we're seeing in society is a sort of cultural battle, as much as cringy as I sometimes find that term.
Entertaining because of how stupid and absurd it is, but I can also understand where it does some damage. But I just spend very, very little time thinking about Alex Jones. He's just one of those things I don't even bother with.
We are seeing violence,
But I think it is
though.
worthy of talking about the situation where he got banned from the website for the things that he says and the things that he does. I think it's worth talking about the topic almost exclusively because 4 corporations got together and all in 1 week decided to pretty much remove them from their self-publishing platforms.
Right, and doesn't that sort of mark... Doesn't that strike any of these people as odd that they all kind of came together in the same, you know, week, in the same time frame? They're like, well, you know, let's just all get together and decide who to ban this week. I mean, this clearly was a combined effort. They all decided on this, and if you don't think that there was a connection here, you're out of your mind.
Now, the first thing I've seen is a lot of people saying this means Alex Jones is banned from the internet. He can't use the internet anymore, and that's very far from the truth.
Okay, that is very far from the truth, but he's banned from arguably the largest platforms that would allow for the farthest possible reach, and the platforms that, as I said earlier, basically control the flow of information.
All he's got to do is find an internet service provider who's willing to host his website for him, and he can put his podcasts up on that. He can put his videos up on that. He can pay for the hosting fees. He can pay for all of that. He can pay for his own website. He can choose to do that. What he's banned for is...
He can, and I think someone like him absolutely should, because that would actually probably drive a lot of people to give up on these sort of things. Now, if he did it less focused on himself and more of a free platform for everybody, that would probably work out even better.
There's a bunch of services like the iTunes store, like the Facebook distribution system, like the YouTube distribution system. He's just not allowed to use those anymore because they don't want him on his platform. And I've seen plenty of people saying, hooray, good, let's shut him down entirely, let's get him entirely off the internet. It's pretty much impossible with a free and open internet that's protected by net neutrality. There's no way you can get rid of Alex Jones. He'll always be able to host his own website. He'll always be able to find a host that's willing to publish it for him. He'll always be able to put it out there in the world.
Yeah, that's another thing, is that Google will just mess with their algorithm and make sure that, you know, unless somebody already knows the the website. They won't be able to find it. He had the largest new traffic today. Yeah, I mean, they kind of, they shined the spotlight on him. They're giving him free press, really. I mean, what they've done here is messed up and wrong, but while they've taken something away from him, they've also given him a lot. And I think that what's going to happen here is they've sort of made a martyr out of him, and that's going to actually make the more hardcore fans of his just kind of believe that, he's correct in everything he says, even if he's not. And, like I said, I don't know too much of his content, but that should be a bad thing according to their logic. Alex Jones is banned from IHOP.
If you think this is the end of Alex Jones, you are very, very wrong. And if you see the people that are defending him today, they are vehement about defending him. Wherever he is able to distribute moving forward, they will flock to it. They will support him. They will buy his supplements and feed their inner gladiator the way he called for them to do. That's literally what he said. If you're worried about this, buy my supplements so that you can feed your inner gladiator. What a weird response, but the guy's a weird guy. But I personally think it's a really good thing that even though I vehemently disagree with 98% of the things that Alex Jones says, and I do believe he is a very harmful person, I will go as far as to say that it's a very good thing that you can't get rid of him completely.
He's a very harmful person, but some fat dude ranting on the internet about committing suicide and to his young fans, that's totally not... That's totally not harmful in any way, shape, or form.
That's the point of the internet. That's the point of a free and open internet. That's the point of net neutrality. If we got rid of net neutrality, then it's the ISPs who could choose to ban him next. Comcast could refuse to serve his videos or his website to at all. AT&T, Verizon, and so on and so forth. Fortunately, they probably won't do that right now because they're still up in the air about net neutrality, so they're probably not going to shut them down just yet. Get rid of net neutrality, it's entirely possible they will, though. But here's the thing when it comes to YouTube and the iTunes Store and Facebook, these are...
Are you guys ready for it? Are you ready? Do you know what he's going to say? He's going to say it. He's going to say it. I can't handle it.
Publishing companies. The same way if I tried to write a book and I decided to...
No, Boogie, no. This is not the same as a publishing company. No. These are companies that have presented themselves as public platforms. So, I mean, what? I can't take this. Why does Boogie bother giving his opinions? He always backpedals. You think millennials can operate complex machinery like copters? No way. Guy's a complete fool. Boogie, no. Yeah, it's... Come on now. Come on. I think that's actually one of the... Even if we want to make this case, this is one of the dumbest things that a company can do. I mean, wouldn't you want... If you're all about user base and engagement... Wouldn't you want the broadest range of content possible? As long as it's, as long as it's not something breaking the law, obviously, within bounds of reason. But they just take these, what I would call pretty innocuous opinions and label it as hate speech and decide that, oh, we got to boot you because we don't like your politics.
Take it to Clearinghouse or one of these publishing companies and try to get them to publish it for me. YouTube does the exact same thing, and they don't like to refer to themselves as publishers, but that's what they do. They take the thing that Alex Jones has created, they then pay for the distribution, they pay for the printing, they pay for the hosting, they pay for the data in the hopes that they can place advertisements on it and make that money back, and they share the profits with you. And so just like any other publisher in the world, whether it comes to a video game company like Steam.
But it's not really just like any other publisher. It's not like a book company, because they concern themselves with the quality of the writing. They won't just publish chicken scratch on a page because they know that that's not going to sell. Now, I know in this case he's trying to conflate the two and say that, well, it's sort of the same idea, but this is more of a self-publishing platform, which I still don't think of YouTube as a publisher. But if you want to go that route, it's more of a self-publishing platform anyway. You can take anything, hence the you in YouTube, and post it on their platform in order to spread your ideas, spread your content, you know, your comedy, your music, your opinions, whatever it is. YouTube used to be about you.
Or iTunes, or they could get to pick and choose who they allow on their platform, who they are going to profit off of, and who they're going to allow to...
You know, they do get to choose, but the reason for those decisions, it has to be a really good one. I don't think that they should selectively ban someone based on what they like, okay? They should be basing that on legality. So unless Alex Jones is doing something absolutely illegal, which I would find very difficult to do through a video, you know, unless he was distributing some kind of, well, cheese pizza, let's say, you know, that's sort of the extreme. I think YouTube was actually ruled to not be a publisher because that implies they're responsible for material published on the platform. That actually makes a lot of sense. Because then when some, you know, ISIS crazy goes and uploads a video of some killing, they would be, you know, responsible for that. But they can't. They can't in good, you know, there's no way that with all the stuff that gets uploaded to YouTube per day, that they can monitor each and every video. That's why there is reporting, you know, and that's why it takes time for videos to get taken down. That's why a lot of it is faulty because it's done, you know, through automation. Other points of view help me form my views to an extent, so I don't mind or care, especially since I can choose who I want to click on and click off of. I don't know if you were here at the beginning, but that's basically what I said. You don't want somebody else to decide what is good for you. You should be able to decide for yourself. You should be able to take in all of the information you want, and then through your own critical thinking skills, you should be able to decide for yourself what you believe, what you want to listen to, you know, what you find value in. And even if it's, this is a perfect example because this is basically, you know, what I do on this stream is a lot of the time I'll see something that I disagree with and I will formulate my own opinion on the subject, and I'll come on here on my big old internet soapbox and I'll, you know, formulate an argument against it, articulate what my issue is with it, why I disagree with it. And anybody can do that, and that should be considered an amazing thing that shouldn't be taken away from people. How many ISIS videos and propaganda is up? I bet I could find it. I think so. I'm sure there are. They're doing it for us. How nice. Then when Daddy of 5 avoided his ban and court order against having a channel, YouTube could have been gone after when he put his channel back up. The wage gap is a lie. Indeed it is. If they were treated as a publisher, that would be possible. All good points as to why Boogie here is off his rocker, and he's just kind of making it, he's trying to make what they did sound acceptable to his audience, and well, we'll get into it later on.
Profit off of them. It's very different from paying an ISP a flat fee and getting them to just host you, because YouTube has to profit off of what you're doing or they take a loss. And Alex Jones was definitely costing YouTube a big loss at this point. YouTube is a company that has had advertisers very, very mad at them for a very, very long period of time. And they were taking these Alex Jones videos, which were very, very unpopular.
Yeah, but think about why that has happened. It's because the social climate has gotten so ridiculous that if somebody sees a, let's say, I don't know, a Victoria's Secret commercial on an Anita Sarkeesian video, you know, they say, well, clearly Anita, she supports objectification of women because this video is on here. Or, you know, the opposite would be, I guess, Victoria's Secret supports Anita's extreme feminist views because they're playing on one of her videos. Say my name, scratch. Okay, marking bad. So I don't believe that. an advertisement is just there to show you a product. They're not there to say, because I happen to be advertising on this particular video, it means I endorse everything that's said in it. That is completely absurd, especially with the amount of videos on YouTube. There is no way an advertiser could parse through all of them and decide, well, I don't want to be associated with this because I disagree with it. Somewhere along the lines, there's going to be a video on this website that an advertiser is going to disagree with the morals of, and therefore, if that's the case, if that's the standard you're setting, nobody should be advertising on YouTube because, well, there's just too many videos, too many potential disagreements, and we can't have that.
To advertisers and to a lot of media companies and to a lot of viewers, and they were distributing them without monetizing them, without putting advertisements on them. It was a pure loss factor for them. And then on top of that, they were also upsetting advertisers who didn't want to advertise on the same platform that Alex Jones was on. So if
see exactly what I said, they're saying, he's saying the advertisers were concerned that Alex Jones was on here. Well, what about all the other people that are on this platform that could be considered disagreeable? Political, climate, extreme, alt-left viewed as okay. Even the most remotely right-leaning ideas viewed as alt-right hate. Exactly. They've muddied the water so much that the most innocuous conservative-sounding opinion is deemed as hateful. It's clown world.
As a corporate decision, this makes all the sense in the world. Get rid of a very unpopular guy who's costing you a lot of money. Stop publishing his stuff to make advertisers happy so that they'll come back and advertise on your platform and make everybody else that's still on your platform rich. It makes a lot of sense. And this is not out of character for YouTube at all. YouTube...
Just because it's not of character for them, does that make it right?
Demonetizes everything. They are so careful. They will demonetize guns in video games. They will demonetize LGBTQ videos. They will demonetize just about anything that they think will upset Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola.
So, since they've demonetized all of those videos and we have established that that would mean YouTube is taking a loss in hosting them, does that mean all of those videos should be banned as well?
And we creators have to deal with that every day. It doesn't matter if you're left. It doesn't matter if you're right. It doesn't matter if you're down the middle. Like,
oh, it matters. It matters a lot. I can't believe that he got on camera and actually said this and thought that it was the truth. It absolutely matters what your leanings are. The precedent has been set.
Like me, it really doesn't matter. YouTube is absolutely going to demonetize you all the time. They're going to strike you all the time. They're going to remove your videos all the time. They ban channels for some of the stupidest, simplest stuff all the time. So the fact that it finally happened to a high-profile case like Alex Jones should be no surprise to anybody. Specifically, if you look at their statement, it says this account has been terminated for violating YouTube's community guidelines. Specifically...
Okay, but do you actually believe that that's the reason? I mean, we all know what's going on here. They're narrowing it down to these specific things, which, honestly, I'm not sure how accurate these statements are. I didn't get the time to go and, look up, did he say these things for sure, or is this kind of just, taking him out of context and sort of applying... I believe the crisis actor thing might have some validity. I don't know if it was about Sandy Hook. I feel like I remember it being about Parkland. Maybe both are true. Again, I don't want to say for sure because I'm not 100%. But if that was the issue, I mean, that happened years ago. Why wouldn't they have removed him then? Let me check out the chat here. All right, so we got, in a fantastical world, wouldn't you love to see the tables turn? For just one brief moment, everything waged against us was turned on them. The entertainment value of the outrage. I mean, you see small examples of that here and there, and they definitely don't like when their own standards get applied back to them. Boogie is so fucking stupid and full of shit. YouTube fucking operates on a loss and has been since it was founded. Google makes money to support YouTube through its other ventures. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So Boogie's taking the same stance as Philly D. Oh, is that what he did? I didn't watch his video yet, but I saw that he talked about it too. And I hate the way he titles his videos. We need to talk about, insert topics. Like, no, we don't need to talk about it. I especially don't need to talk to you about it because you're just going to take the ass-kissing YouTube stance. They should start by demonetizing hand and mouth stuff. I say that kind of jokingly because Philly D has, had issues with YouTube's practices, but in this situation, I don't know exactly what he said, so I know someone's going to get outraged and be like, but Philly D has, spoken out against YouTube before. I know he has. It's the same reason why VidMe failed in less than a year. Large video hosting sites aren't profitable at all. They demonetize everyone unless they own a late-night talk show. Herder, I'm surprised he wasn't taken down already. Freedom of speech doesn't matter. That he said it. Are we sure this isn't Mundane Matt and Boogie Face? Boogie Face. I like that one. That is hilarious. We lost Rich Piana but kept this faggot. Oh, you guys are funny.
The service prohibits hate speech, and Jones has been spewing invective for years. He falsely claimed parents of children killed in the Sandy Hook school shooting were crisis actors. They promoted the Pizzagate conspiracy theory, that there was a child sex slave. I can't even say these words on YouTube. Read it.
Look, he won't even say it. He won't even say it because he's so afraid of getting his little video demonetized and taken down.
For yourself. But last week, Jones mimed shooting special counsel Robert Mueller. Yeah, that's going to get you banned, Alex. That's definitely going to get you banned. Now, here's the thing.
But should it?
Going to free speech, I think it kind of sucks that it's getting more and more difficult to get these companies to publish your work. But I also understand why YouTube chose.
See what I mean? See, this is what he does all the time. Oh, well, I understand that it's a good idea for YouTube to come down, but I also understand that it sucks that it's so difficult. It's like, shut up. Just shut up and make a fucking decision. Don't try to play this crap when it's very clear that you are siding with this ban.
To do this. In fact, to be honest with you, I think they gave him a lot of special treatment and let him go for a lot longer than they probably even should have, because they are certainly...
Let him go for a lot longer than he should have. So there you have it. He should have been banned.
Holding him to a double standard. They were holding me or anybody else. He got away with a lot more crap than anybody else. And as a proponent of free speech, I'm glad that we have an internet where Alex Jones can...
As a proponent of free speech, after he fucking supports the ban.
His own website and distribute his own podcast and distribute his own stuff directly to you because of net neutrality, AT&T and Comcast and those other companies can't keep that from happening. I'm grateful for that. But I'm also kind of grateful that YouTube chose to step up and punish people accordingly for breaking the rules, because Lord knows they punish me for barely breaking them all the time. But that's just one man's opinion, and I could be wrong.
I think more like 10 men.
No, you'll let me know in the comments section below if I am. I'm curious as to what...
Sorry, 10 soy children.
You think about the situation. I try to take a very neutral, down-the-road, middle look at it, even though you can kind of tell I lean in one direction on this one. But I'm curious as to how you guys lean. Do you lean left, right, straight?
He leans all right. Fucker can't even stand. This is absurd. So, I don't know. There's a lot of backlash here. So I will say that. Obviously, there are plenty more likes, which is a little bit, that is troublesome in this case because it kind of shows that people actually think that what he said here was intelligent or a valid point. It's stupid. It's catering to the platform that is his meal ticket. That's all it is. He's just sucking their dicks so that he doesn't get kicked off himself. Like, he's afraid to say, YouTube, even though I disagree with him, I think what you did was messed up because it sets a precedent for removing people based on a selective dislike of their opinions rather than any kind of legal ground. I agree with you. He's only leaning because the fence can't support his weight. That poor fence. Yeah, he's going to have to build a wall. I know which side of it he's going to be put on. He tries so hard to kiss everyone's ass that he ends up contradicting himself to a ridiculous degree. Check your Twitter DMs. Alrighty, give me a sec here. Don't worry, I have the separate thing so they will not be exposed. Oh boy. So we got some other stuff here. Oh wait, Mundane Matt defended Alex Jones? Alright, let me try to click these open one by one and see what's happening here. This is courtesy of Marking Bad here. Pushing Alex Jones underground will only make him more unhinged. You done goofed YouTube. Okay, but what do they mean unhinged? Yeah, all right. So opinions I don't like. Oh wait, this is the same one. Tim Pool, what did he say? It's bad. It's getting worse. This same. Okay, Facebook has asked banks to share financial information about customers, including account balances, as it seeks to boost user engagement. What in the world? Yeah, if you guys are using Facebook, I would recommend not having any personal information on there. You know, use a fake name. I wouldn't even post my photo at this point. They're absolutely ridiculous. Let me check the chat here again. He will regret his stance in the future. That's what I feel about all of these people, is that just because they don't like somebody, they think it's okay to ban them, and then they don't realize that in the future the very same standards could be applied to them, which is why we need a standard that says across the board, this is not okay. You know, unless you cross illegal ground, which speech is not illegal, unless, of course, you're going for the inciting violence thing, which we've seen somebody like Maxine Waters do with no repercussions, and she is a political figure. So this is crazy that some guy that kind of built his own platform is getting banned. Meanwhile, you have people in politics that are advocating violence. Most social media sites are toxic. I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Although the word toxic has been ruined for me because of the people that usually try to use it and they say everything is toxic, you know. But I definitely understand what you're saying. I don't believe he's married or has a kid. Matt has a kid, but he's not married. Apparently one of the Guardians of the Galaxy actors are threatening to quit because of James Gunn's firing. Well, fuck it. We don't need any more superhero movies anyway. Wait, didn't Saga prove that they were putting chemicals in the water? So yeah, I think what happened was, I don't know if it was, I think it's fish and frogs. There was some kind of chemical that was being, you know, leaked into the water that was causing them to go through a sex change. I believe that's what it was. Don't quote me 100%, but I think that's what I saw. Typical soy father. Samantha Bee could probably get away with murder. Fuck Batista. Wasn't he a wrestler or something? Yeah, I don't know. I'm done caring about what celebrities think. I mean, you might see me respond to some of the stupid shit they say, but I'm tired of people that prop up celebrities that just because they're in entertainment, people want to act like they have some more enlightened take or understanding. If anything, those motherfuckers are so far removed from reality because they live in a completely different world than the average citizen does. They're the ones out of touch with reality. They don't know what it's like to walk around in everyday life because they hide out in their gated communities. They hang out with their rich friends, their pedo friends. It's absolutely insane. He was a pretty popular one for a bit, but now he's known for an overrated character. It's actually true. Sex changed frogs because of pollution in water. What was it, like atrazine or something with an A, I think the chemical was. It was some sort of medication. Let's see if we can find it. I don't think that's the right spelling. Oh wait. Okay, so atrazine is something, but I don't think this is the correct. Oh, here we go. Oh, demasculation in male North leopard frogs. Yep, okay, I was right. It is atrazine. There's a reason actors/actresses were treated like prostitutes in ancient Rome. Celebrities are global homo scum. Yeah, but they're so hypocritical about it because these are the guys that walk around, you know, they're anti-gun, but they walk around with armed security. They're pro-open borders, but they live in gated communities. You know, they're anti-racist, and yet they hire illegals to, you know, clean their fucking pool. It's insane. the foods we eat do cause cancer. I've seen a lot of... There's so many. It's like everything causes cancer at this rate. Like, what doesn't? I think there's less things... There's a smaller list of things that don't cause cancer than there is things that do. But we also eat in this country like garbage. Complete garbage. On average. You know, everything is processed. Even the organic stuff, it's just like overpriced, but it's not necessarily as organic as they tell you on the package. 2 words that shows everything wrong in Hollywood in one individual. Sarah Silverman. Everything does cause cancer. Living causes cancer. It isn't about being real, it's about boosting your ratings. Black pill on every stream today. Life is just one big black pill. Yeah, well, it's been a day. I was getting a headache reading all of this stupid shit about how, well, it's not really free speech. You guys are just crying about your rights. It's like, well, you know, somebody actually has to give a damn, because you passive Fruit Loops just think you're too busy indulging in, you know, this feeling of pride that somebody that you don't like lost something. But you don't realize that once again, it will be turned around on you someday. And then at that point, it'll be too late. You'll have no argument against it because you've enabled it. And they keep chipping away at the foundation of it all. And by the time they wake up, it's probably going to be far too late to do anything about it. Why am I getting a notification here? Soros is the devil. That's the comment that I got 15 minutes ago. Nice. It was actually on this stream. Okay, that's weird. I thought you had to like type in chat, but apparently people can leave comments in the comment section before the stream is actually over. Well, they're at least turning the frogs trans, so that's a thing. And I mean, that's kind of interesting, right? Because if it could happen with animals, you kind of have to wonder if that kind of thing is happening with people in some regard. I mean, if we are to take the idea that the amount of, transgender issues are growing, the people that find themselves feeling more feminine or whatever, I wonder if there's any kind of... Because it does really seem as though there are more men that want to become women than women that want to become men. You know, obviously I don't have a stat on that, but it just appears that way if you look around. You'd think they would have learned about what's good for the goose is good for the gander through the recent James Gunn thing. And that's the thing, they didn't. Instead, they just tried to write it off by labeling it as a troll operation. It's a right-wing troll operation that got him fired. It has nothing to do with the fact that it's a standard we ourselves set. They won't care until it happens to them. Wait until the left winger gets hit the same way, then they'll bitch and act like it's different. Yeah, zero. Yeah, that was the example I used earlier when I first started up. Is that? But the problem is that they're not learning their lesson with that, which is crazy to me. Stupid bed of... Okay, wait. What am I saying? Stupid bed of chaos. Why remake Dark Souls and force me to suffer it again? Fuck's sake. Women do seem more masculine and men seem more feminine in general, as of late, that is. Well, I think that's just a consequence of this feminism thing where, you know, the idea is that women can do anything men can do, so therefore they are just like men. Of course, that reasoning never sticks when they want to say that, the patriarchy is oppressing them. Well, if women are so capable and they're just the same as men, how come they haven't beaten this patriarchy thing yet? How come it just keeps holding them down? That's the pussification of our country. Oh, speaking of that, I saw earlier they said that too many hugs, not enough sports in school. Well, and then they were taking the competition aspect out of it. I heard that, you know, there were some schools that removed point keeping, score keeping. I don't know why I said point keeping, but, you know, same thing. They removed score keeping. You know, they removed the idea of losing the game. It's a good thing to learn how to lose, okay? You can't always win in life. And that's one of the most valuable lessons that you can learn. And, you know, instilling that at a young age is of a great benefit to people. And I think that's why you have a lot of people that grow up and they have no concept of what it's like to understand that you don't always get your way. They really think that they can just drone on about this election thing after the fact, like they still have a chance to get their way. It's over. You lost. Pack it up. Better luck next time. But with the way you're acting, all you're going to do is drive more people to the opposition. Can't beat something that doesn't exist. I threw my son's participation trophy away and explained why. He plays to win, but is a gracious loser too. I think that's really good. You know, honestly, if I received a participation trophy, I wouldn't want it. That's ridiculous. Personally, don't want anyone get fired over tweets or controversial opinions. It is just stupid. It's pretty stupid. You know, arguably, you could say that the people that do these kind of things on a company account, which I've seen a lot, you know, maybe you could argue that that's, you know, like if you somehow have control of the Burger King social media and you say some crazy shit like you want somebody dead or something like that, all right, maybe then, you know, maybe that's a reason. But this idea of your personal accounts, your personal life being delved into by these companies, even when you're not associating with them, that's crazy to me. We're already at midterms and they're still bitching about last election. Just wait until 2020. 2019 is going to be great. I imagine we'll get more of that that crazy screaming. Oh, speaking of that, let's watch something fun, huh? Let's get a good laugh. All right, let me find it real quick here. This was just one of the craziest things and the dumbest things that I saw today. Got to scroll a little bit because I did end up posting a little bit more than I thought I would. Just because of how dumb of a day it was. Okay, so let me get the link. Here we go. All right. We're going to watch this. Just listen closely.
Call because we're eating breakfast and we happen to be conservative.
They're not Nazis, they're soft fascists. They're the soft fascists. They're not Nazis.
Have a wonderful day. Enjoy your capitalist breakfast.
Capitalist breakfast.
Filming? This is crazy. So, ready? 1, 2, 3. Fuck the bourgeoisie! 4, 5, 6. Fuck the bourgeoisie!
This is great. Look at pink hair, yellow hair, white people for days. No fashion sense. Megaphone check.
Sucks? That's what your phone fucking says? Big government sucks? Wait, what sucks about big government? Let's talk about that one. What sucks about big government? Is it the fact that y'all are part of big government?
It gets better. It gets better. Okay, so you've got... We'll wait a little bit. I like that. Look at this. Spurgery. Absolute. Who behaves like this? What was that? The guy he just screams. What is that supposed to do? And they're screaming fuck white supremacy at a black woman. Now, think whatever you want of Candace Owens, but to say that she's a white supremacist, are you insane? And they record all their shit on iPhones. That blows my mind too. It's like, oh, we want communism and all that crazy shit and down with capitalism, but let me post on Twitter from my iPhone. It's like, you guys would never ever give up the privileges you have required to do that. But aren't they? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, how are they all able to just stand around and scream at people all day? Autistic screeching. Exactly. It's like, it's the the stereotype brought to life. And that's I find this to be a bigger insult to autistic people that actually have the issue. They need Jesse Lee Peterson in their lives. Indian woman, but yeah, still. Is she really Indian? I thought she was black. I know the woman that posted it is Indian, but the girl in the video, Candace Owens, I thought she was a black woman. I haven't seen you upload in a minute. Yeah, I've been very erratic with my material. When they yell, we get more meme video material. Yeah, I kind of want to download this one and have a little fun with it, because that is the funniest thing I've seen in a long time. Now, I mean, obviously when you're there, it's probably the most irritating crap to experience, but the jokes that come afterwards are just too good. Too good. I guess I just don't understand what that is supposed to represent. What is that supposed to say? Candace is black. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Communism, can't wait for the iPhone. That's my bad, didn't recognize Candace there. No problem. Candace is a two-faced, but not gonna lie, she looks good. Maybe closing all those asylums in the late 60s wasn't a good idea. This is their offspring. Autism is not a real diagnosis in most cases. Well, I would say, yeah, you're probably right that it seems to be over-diagnosed in this day and age. I mean, I honestly feel like, it's probably going to be funny to say, but I honestly feel like if I was a kid in this day and age, that I would be diagnosed with autism. I'm starting to understand why people would rather jerk off the cartoon for and then go out and talk to people. Well, let's not get completely degenerate here. It makes them feel good, that's all. Just an excuse to put people on drugs. Candace is an Oreo? Well, Nabisco did make quite a decent cookie there. Well, I think, the point stands that it's funny to see a group of white people that usually claim that people of color can't be racist standing out here screeching on the street at somebody that looks the part that they want to protect, that they claim to want to protect. It's insanity. They don't even believe their own standards. They don't live up to their own standards. Remember when they all claimed, oh no, they're just punching Nazis, Richard Spencer is evil, it's not like we punch regular people. Now punching Jeremy, aka fat basic bitch conservative Magic the Gathering player. Yeah, that was messed up. I saw a lot of people giving him shit for the way that he handled it, but I think he's kind of doing it the right way. Well, I mean, he got jumped from behind. What are you gonna do? I've only known one person in real life who could be considered autistic, and they were a real life idiot savant like Rayman. But real communism hasn't been tried. Slippery slope 3.0. Well, yeah, they keep moving the Rain Man. Okay, I gotcha. I was going to say Rayman. That's like a video game character. Yeah, they keep moving the bar for what constitutes extremism. Extremism now is basically anything that goes against their political views, which is what is so dangerous here. Find the guy and jumping back. If a dude in a tutu attacked me from behind, I'd ruin his life too. Well, I mean, I think he's trying to play it smart. Obviously, you know, it would feel good to get revenge in that kind of way, but I think he's trying to, as cringy as some people might find it, I think he's trying to use his influence to kind of show people, set an example. I think there was more to it, and the fact that he's doing a fundraiser or approve it at least, no. Well, the fundraiser is being done by somebody else, and I thought it was for legal fees. I did watch the video that he put out the other day addressing all that, and he claims, and you know, we would need to see proof before we blindly believe it. He claims that he's only going to use the funds for legal purposes, and that if they don't come to a consensus on what to do with the funds, he's going to refund it all. So if he makes good on that, you know, there's not really much we could say. Speaking of Spurgery, Wigon Thought put out a video talking about them being at MythCon yesterday. Oh no, how was MythCon? Right. Well, I think they probably just got into a shit-flinging contest. I don't know, you know, their financial assets. Wasn't Ethan here in the chat earlier, if I'm not mistaken? If I understand right, no charges have actually been made. Well, a police report has been filed, and supposedly what's happening is that they, I mean, he basically hid and ran away. Now he's headed home, and supposedly the police in his area are going to pick him up whenever he arrives back home. I mean, we'll have to see how that all goes down. I think the guy should get in trouble if it all happened the way that, you know, he said it happened. I don't think these people should get away with it. That's just messed up. What the fuck are all these conventions? VidCon, MythCon, what next? FurCon, BronyCon? I think FurCon and BronyCon are already things. Wigon Thought, that is clever. I've heard Wigon Head. What else have we got? I know there were some others. That's the big four, I think. VidCon, okay. I was going to make a video about it, but then I decided against it because I just didn't want to give it any attention. It just felt like such a cringy topic. But the VidCon thing really gets me. And the reason that it gets me is because you have these so-called creators, these anti-SJW figures that claim to be against all this stuff, and yet they're financially funding an event that caters to the social justice narrative. And what's the reason they're doing that? Oh, I just want to go and hang out with my friends at VidCon and see the fans. Where are your principles? No principles at all. She wears diapers. I saw that. I saw the claim. That's actually pretty messed up, if it's true. I saw the photo, and it did definitely look off. Yeah, she's just ridiculous. We'll have to run. It's been fun here. Good subject matter and participation. First time I watch your channel stream. I'll check you again another time. Globalist Juice, thank you so much for the $20. That's really generous of you. I appreciate it. You're actually the king of the super chat now. That's the most that I have personally had donated to me, so I appreciate that. Come back anytime. And not just because you gave money. Oh, now it actually just went off the notification for that. All right, let me just take a quick look here and see if there was anything else that I wanted to do. Oh, okay. Well, I guess this is not important, but I can just show you anyway. I'm sure some of you who follow me on Twitter probably already saw, but earlier today I made this joke post here. Today is #Straight Appreciation Day. On this day, LGBT people must show how grateful they are to all heterosexual people in their lives, for without the straights, they would not exist. Straight is more than just an orientation. It is the gift of life. Straight pride worldwide. All right, see ya, globalist. So, this was actually, pretty well received. I didn't get I was actually mad about it, but then we had the inevitable killjoy that decided to be a little bit pedantic about it. So I'll just go through, then you guys can tell me what you think. I wonder if she's into pee too. Oh man, I've already had enough of the adult baby situation. I did a video on that a while back. That was hilarious. So, this person says, if not for straights, they would not exist. This is not true. Gay people have kids all the time. They have kids all the time? Really? All the time? So I just said womp womp, not in any capacity meaningful enough to sustain the human population, hence they would cease to exist. So, it goes on for a couple more posts, but my point was not that their bodies cannot biologically have children, because they can, but if they're gay, they generally choose not to, partake in intimacy with the opposite sex. So therefore, they don't produce children. So this guy says, yeah, do you realize it's a shit poster? Yeah, I mean, this was obviously a joke. I don't know how you take this seriously. So he says, fair enough, but a lot of people don't seem to understand that gay people procreate. And I said, which is against their supposed nature. This person says, being gay doesn't mean you don't want to raise children. Have children is not the equivalent of wanting children. There are plenty of ways to have children that do not involve traditional baby making. I don't know about plenty of ways. Isn't there one other way? Two, maybe? I don't know if we're exactly far along enough to be creating complete babies in tubes with no woman. So I said, are you purposely misunderstanding the post for the sake of argument? Everyone knows a gay person's body can produce children, but if straight people didn't exist, there would be no gay people. My point is that this is not true. Neither is the post. There's no such holiday. But if you want to play the what-if game, there couldn't be gay people without straight people, because humanity didn't have the tech to procreate any other way than biologically from the start. So he says, people can have sex with people they're not attracted to, right? Yes, but the amount of people willing to do that is not enough to sustain a population for an entire species, especially taking into account how small the gay population is in comparison to the rest. And if they were all willing to do that, I sincerely question the credibility of the born that way argument for sexual orientation. Can't have it both ways. So, let me see if I can... Oh, I probably won't be able to. No, I'd have to sign in. There was one more post, and the post was... He came back with... The problem here is that you think sex is for procreation. So what I responded to that with was, because that is its primary function. Yes, some people do it for pleasure, but the biological function is procreation. How do you not know that? How have we gone so far off the rails that you don't realize the reason that it feels good is so that people will want to do it, so that humanity can continue to thrive by reproducing? Absurdity. But then he just trailed off. That was it. That was the cringiest response I got to that post so far. But it just kind of amazes me how people sort of do that. Sex literally is for procreation, basic biology. I mean, it's mostly intended for procreation. Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's not that people don't do it for other reasons. It's just that in nature, that is the function. Anyways, I'm going to bounce. Cheers for the chill stream. Thanks for stopping by, Dyslexic. We're actually going to wrap up fairly soon here. It's been almost an hour and a half, so that's usually about how long we go. Sex biologically is made for procreation. Beauty judges health of a partner. Hey, note that population growth is in decline, so today the gay population is not procreating. Yeah, it's only good for one thing. Kids, sex is stressful for some. You know, it's interesting that just because they are an outlier, they kind of want to just be like, well, we can, you know, do the same thing. It's like, well, how can you argue that it's nature to be gay and then just be like, well, but if they decide to, they can just have kids. The only reason male animals would put up with female animals, bullshit. I'm not saying things like that don't happen, but the degree that, you know, to which they happen, the amount that of those cases aren't enough. And it's ridiculous that we even had to get into like a serious discussion over what was clearly a bait post. But if you want to like think about it in theory, there's just no way that would work. Well, right, it's also, you know, emotional bonding. Desire and enjoyment is the biological payoff to encourage the process. Egg towel, animals going their own way. If Islam kills the gay and by proximity the leftist, could it potentially save the white man? Oh boy. Can't be logical with a Momo. Trying to think if there was anything else that I wanted to go over. I definitely covered everything that I wanted to go over with the Google situation and whatnot. That was just the topic of the day that I found mind-blowing, that all of these people that claim to be anti-fascist and all of that were just all too happy to shut somebody down just because they happen to disagree with them. I feel like we're living in a really bad episode of The Twilight Zone. Like if the show sucked. Alright, guys. I think that is all for this evening. So I do appreciate the turnout here. A lot of you showed up on such short notice, and that is awesome. So thank you very much for hanging out and interacting. Chat definitely helped things along as well, so thanks a lot, guys. You know, I always say this at the end of the stream, but I will try to make these a little bit more, you know, frequent. But like I said, it's got to be, you know, I got to have something to talk about. I got to have a topic. You know, I don't want to just get on here and bullshit my way through it. I want to have something that we can go over together. Good stream. Good night. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. All right. Everybody have a good evening. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night. There's still Kill Stream left to watch if you need more streamy goodness. That sounded a little weird, but whatever. All right, anybody. Take care, everybody.